and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host, Orrett Connor.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and if you like orchids, this is the place to be at this time of the day. I know I have two sisters who are real orchid enthusiasts and spend lots of money on orchids as well. So we're going to be talking about those as soon as we return. Don't change that dial, please stay tuned. Talk Today will be back shortly.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. We're going to be talking about orchids, talking about the Orchid Show that is coming up. We have a representative from the Cayman Islands National Attractions, as well as a representative from the Botanic Park. We have Miss Leanna Jarvis-Burton and Mr. John Lawrus. Folks, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us.
Okay, and
thank you.
We're going to go around and have you reintroduce yourselves and tell us what it is you do with your organization.
Okay, so I work for the Cayman Islands National Attractions Authority. That's CINA. And we actually, Botanic Park falls under one of our parks. So I am the marketing and admin coordinator.
Okay, and for those who are not familiar with the national attractions, what other entities fall under your purview?
We manage the Pedro St. James, the Cayman Craft Market, and the Hell Geological Site.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. And we have the expert in the studio with us, Mr. John Lawrus. Tell us about yourself.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I'm the general manager of the Queen Elizabeth II Botanic Park. I've been with the park since 2001 and oversee the daily activities, marketing, management of the entire 65 acres in coordination with all of our staff and managed underneath the Cayman Islands National Attractions Authority, which falls under the Ministry of Tourism.
And we know that orchids have become extremely popular here in the Cayman Islands. When you talk about orchids, right away it brings up the name of the late Mr. Kirkland Nixon and so many others who are involved in orchids as well. But let's talk about the show first. Let's talk about the dates, where it's going to take place, what people are to expect when they do come to the show as well.
Okay, so it's going to be a family fun day, first of all, and the event's going to take place at the Queen Elizabeth II Botanic Park, and the event actually happens for 2 days. So you have two opportunities to come and attend the orchid and plant sale. So it's going to be March 29th and 30th.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And as far as entrance fees and things are concerned, can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah,
How much
we have.
it's going to hurt
We
my pocket to get
offer
in?
we offer event pricing of $10 CI for adults and $5 for children. It's a very economical opportunity for people to go out, not just alone explore the Botanic Park, but also have the opportunity to purchase thousands. We've brought in over 1,000 orchids, blooming and non-blooming orchids for the public to buy.
Okay. And so 1,000, you think that will be enough to satisfy the appetite for 2 days?
I hope so. It's always a little bit of a challenge measuring what people want to buy, and it's also based on what we can get. The importation of orchids and approved exporters have been decreasing dramatically, so it's not just a question of just because we want it doesn't mean we can get it. Also, there's lots of restrictions on what type of orchids can be brought into the Cayman Islands.
Oh, okay. Didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That. So to be on the safe side, it is best, rather than trying to import them yourself, is to go through an established or buy from an established entity.
Most
like
definitely.
The Botanic
That's
Park,
correct.
Yeah?
Yeah, anybody can import orchids, but I would always recommend joining one of the Orchid Society or Orchid Clubs on the island who purchase orchids through shows overseas as well. So that's another opportunity for people to bring in orchids.
Okay. Did we mention the time that is this will take place? We know the dates, the 29th and the 30th, and the time of the day. When will the park open, and when will it close to the public?
So the event starts at 9 a.m. and it ends at 4 p.m. So you have hours and hours to come and indulge in this beautiful experience.
Okay. And what advice would you give to those persons planning on coming? The attire, the dress attire. I would imagine, being a botanic park, there would probably be a lot of shaded trees, and I've been there before, so I know what it is like. But I'm just instigating here.
Dress comfortably,
Yes.
and also bring. A lot of people bring their own little carriers or little trolleys to carry their orchids out. People have handfuls of orchids. We do provide boxing, and we'll be there to assist with a golf cart to carry orchids to people's cars. Another big thing about the day is that we've got Dexter Bodden. He's going to be playing on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
We've got Sam's Jerk, and also Miss Emily from Northside will be providing great healthy snacks for purchase at the day. So it's just a great weekend and a bonus of the Orchid Show.
Certainly would be. Anything you want to add, Ms. Burton?
No, I just want to encourage, everyone to come out and celebrate. Come on down to the Botanic Park. It's going to be a great event. There's, there's going to be the orchids for sale, plants for sale. There's also going to be fantastic prize giveaways. So you're going to enter a raffle. John can tell you more about it, but definitely we're going to have tons and tons of prizes that you don't want to miss. Like he said, come dressed comfortably. It's going to be an exciting event, and it's an event that is a family event. So bring everyone, bring your mom, your dad, the kids. It's just going to be a great time.
And you did say the entry fee was $10.
10 CI.
And what about
$5
young children? Who gets in free?
If you're under 6 years old, you get in for free.
Okay.
Yeah. But also, it happens right in the children's garden. So it's a great opportunity if the parents want to go look at orchids and look at the display in the back of the visitor center. The kids can be off in the Cayman National Splash Pad or just exploring the entire garden on their own in a very safe environment.
Okay. Paul, commercial time for you? Okay, folks, we're talking about the Orchid Show and Sale at the Queen Elizabeth II Botanic Park, which will take place on March the 29th and the 30th, 2 days. Over 1,000 orchids will be up for sale, so you want to make sure you get there early and to ensure that 1,000 orchids will last as well. We know the demand, and orchids are so beautiful, but you're going to hear so much more about it when we return. You will hear from Miss Leanna Jarvis-Burton, who is the marketing coordinator and administrator at the Cayman Islands National Attractions, and Mr. John Lawrus, who is the general manager of the Botanic Park. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Hello, Northside. This is Justin Ebanks, your PPM candidate for this election. Come on out on Thursday, March 20th at 7 p.m. at Cynthia Whitaker's yard, affectionately known as Sin Sin. Her address is 196 Northside. Come listen to the issues and solutions that matter to you. We're proven stable leadership, moving forward with the PPM.
We're moving forward. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. See the light again.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo Footlong Cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points, or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo Footlong Cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We're talking about the Orchid Show and Sale taking place at the Queen Elizabeth II Park on the 29th and 30th of this month. That is on a Saturday and on a Sunday, starting 9 a.m., ending at 4 p.m. Lots of exciting activities taking place. It is a family event as well, but I'm only going from the script, but we do have individuals in the studio who know all about this. They're all involved in it, so I'm going to throw the mic back over to Miss Leanna Jarvis-Burton, who is from the Cayman Islands National Attractions. She is the marketing coordinator and administrator at that entity. And the expert, Mr. John Lawrus, who is the general manager of the Botanic Park. Folks, take it away.
Thank you.
So, something that we also need to note to everyone who's going to be in attendance to this amazing orchid show and plant sale is that we are going to be having raffles at this event. And at the event for the raffles, we are encouraging everyone to bring cash for the raffles. The raffle, you get to enter the raffles, and then at the end, they will be doing the prizes. So I'm going to let John tell us all about the exciting prizes that we have coming up, because boy, oh boy, some of these sound so good. I hope I get to win, but I know I can't.
Right? You don't qualify.
I don't qualify, but maybe someone will share with me.
Yeah, the raffle, it's growing as we get closer and closer, but just a few notable ones. One of our orchid vendors, Moats Orchids, which is one of the preeminent Vandaceous growers in Homestead, he is donating an orchid. He hasn't told me what he is donating, but it will be shipped here next week with the orchids, and that will be one of the prizes. A large plant from Living Color Nursery, which is another one of our vendors, will be donating a plant for the raffle. Red Sail Sports has donated a couple prizes. I haven't opened up the envelope, but I know one of them is probably a catamaran excursion. Morgan's Seafood Restaurant, always a big supporter of the Botanic Park, has donated a dinner for two as part of the raffle. Cayman Airways has provided vouchers for use on purchases of tickets. Again, always supportive of the Botanic Park and the Orchid Show. Le Valley Restaurant is supporting, I don't know the exact amount, but again, a dinner or something to eat. Great pizza restaurant right on the harbor. Beautiful spot. Tucka, always a longtime supporter, providing us with gift certificates. Over the Edge in the north side.
Favorite breakfast spot after
the bicycle rides.
Yes, nice.
The Botanic Park will be giving an annual family membership. Again, part of the raffle prizes, and I probably expect another 5 to 10 on that. So the tickets will be $10. Cash is the preferred way, and also for our food vendors, Miss Emily and Sam's Jerk, cash is king with them to enjoy their food. Yeah. So it's going to be a great day. We always make the park, our events, economically, feasible for everybody as the costs are increasing around the island. Going into a facility such as the Botanic Park, as a resident is only $10, but we keep the special event price the same as well, because it is largely focused on residents. Children, $5. Again, you can't do much for $5 here anymore.
That's true.
The children's garden development on its own is a great way to spend an afternoon with your kid and buy an orchid.
So if you haven't actually been to the Botanic Park in a while, the children's garden is the place to be. You want to bring the kids because they're going to be so excited. There's so much to do. There's so much to see. It's so beautiful. So bring the kids, let them get some fresh air, take them from in front of the TV and the iPads, and bring them up to the Botanic Park, because this is going to be, they're really going to enjoy it.
Yeah, well, my 2-year-old granddaughter would love it, because I have been, exposing her to the outdoors.
Of course.
So, when I say, let's go, put your shoes on, and she put her Crocs on, and we go outside her, and if she wakes up and I'm not around, she goes to the back door and hollering for a papa, because she expects me to be out in the yard. And I feel that is important to get her accustomed to the outdoors, as well. And now she knows her way around the yard. She goes anywhere. As a matter of fact, we've lost her on a couple of occasions where she just sneaks off as well. But that's enough for my family.
Yeah, we all need to be outside more. We get stuck into our normal office environments, and it's hard to put a value on being outside in nature, in the shade, amongst trees, being grounded, keeping your feet on the ground. You ride your bicycle on a regular basis. The value it gives you is immeasurable. And, going for a walk in the bush, as it's called, is so healthy. It lowers your blood pressure. It keeps you grounded. You become, relaxed immediately. And we need to do that more. We need to put these phones down. We need to put the iPads down. We need to take the kids and tell them, go run around, fall down, skin your knee. You're going to be all right. We've lost that, We've lost it. And the technology is growing, far surpassing our abilities to adapt.
Precisely.
And any opportunity we have to get our kids, get ourselves, go out for a walk on the beach, go for a walk in the bush, is hugely beneficial.
Now, folks, we know that you're not really in competition with the private sector when it comes to the selling of orchids, but we also know that, orchids can be sometimes extremely expensive depending on what you get. What should people expect? And I'm not asking you to give out prices, but in terms of price line when they come.
Sure. I mean, we're a small community. Another donation that's coming is a very significant donation for the raffle comes from Vigro.
Okay.
Vigro actually doesn't order orchids at this time of year. They save them for Easter because they know we have our orchid show going on at this time.
Oh, okay, that's very considerate.
Our prices are kept down a little bit. We are a statutory authority, so we don't pay duty on them. So that saving is passed on to the buyers. So our orchids are generally a little bit cheaper. We're like I said, we're not in competition. This is an annual event for the public. People can buy orchids all the time from anywhere, but it's kind of an understanding amongst the industry here.
One of our listeners wants to know about the they want to know about the local orchid, and if you could speak a little bit about that.
Sure. Our banana orchid, Myrmecophila thomsoniana, is an endemic orchid.
That's a tongue twister.
Sure is.
Yes, only he can say that.
It's actually not available to be imported, although it's used quite a bit in hybridizing in the orchid industry. And you technically cannot sell it. If you have it on your land, I'm sure you can give it to somebody, but it's a protected species, and we want to continue to protect the species. But what comes with protecting the species is protecting the land that it survives on.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest challenge. But it's our national flower. That's the Cayman Brack version has a little bit more of a yellow tinge to it. And beautiful as well. But that's something that we all need to be proud of. We all need to protect, and we all need to support more and more.
Any advice to give to persons who intend on clearing land, and what to look for and what they should do when they discover the banana orchid on their property that they're clearing?
We initially started our orchid boardwalk as a repository for rescue orchids for land clearings. By law, we either the orchid societies or the Botanic Park would require a letter from the landowner that we could go in, or the groups could go in and rescue the orchids and remove them physically from that property. This would all be vetted by the DOE and get an approval, and then typically they would be placed back on the orchid boardwalk.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
That's great.
We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to have about 12 minutes left to go with this interview. We may repeat some of the things, but they're worth repeating, so I want you to ensure that you cover everything that you want to cover as regards to the 29th and the 30th of March that involves the orchid and plant sale at the Orchid Show and Sale at the Queen Elizabeth II Park. Folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. But I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Bottentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Bottentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Hi, I'm Deputy Governor Franz Manderson, and I'm happy to announce the annual DG's 5K Challenge is fast approaching. Join us in Little Cayman on March 9th, Cayman Brac on March 16th, and Grand Cayman on March 30th for this exciting event. This year, we're proudly supporting the Cayman Islands Girls Brigade, the Cayman Islands Scouts Association, and the One-to-One Foundation, organizations dedicated to making a positive difference in the lives of our next generation. For more info on how to register, find us on Facebook at DG's 5K Challenge.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I'm your host, Orrett Connor, and we're talking about the Orchid Show and Sale taking place at the Queen Elizabeth II Park on the 29th and 30th of March of this year. That conversation is taking place with Miss Leanna Jarvis-Burton, who's the marketing and administrative coordinator at the Cayman Islands National Attractions. Also with us, the plant expert, Mr. John Lawrus, who is the general manager of the Botanic Park as well. We do have a caller, so let's grab the caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, O.C. How you doing?
Good afternoon. How are you?
I am good, my friend. I'm good. Just a quick, I don't know if it's a question or a comment. To the, good afternoon to your panel.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm calling from the Braco, so you know who.
Yes. Yeah.
Always been a strong advocate about these orchids, especially on the Brac. I heard you mention, the gentleman mentioned that DOE has to come out and assess these developers that coming in here and down our wildlife lands and destroying our orchids. That is not the facts here on the Brac. I'm not trying to make no one look like a culprit, but what I'm saying is, I've said it many times on OC show and the Sterling show. In my family, we have to go on the bluff. Many times it is developing subdivisions that they're destroying on the bluff and tearing down, all the while the hardwood trees and the ironwood trees. And if you see the amount of orchids that they destroy and burn, we have been removing hundreds of orchids just to try to save them. Sometimes they don't survive, and most of the time a lot of them survive. And it needs to be reinforced to make sure that these things are implemented and keep in contact, keep in close check with these developers pushing down these subdivisions and destroying our orchids.
Okay.
I am very strong against that, OC, and I look for I'll listen to the comments of the two there with you, and I hope that something be done, because I can't stand to see the orchids be destroyed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. We have Mr. Lawrus respond. Joe?
Yes, I totally agree with you, and I would be under the impression that you would have to have a land clearance certificate, permission to do any clearing before that. The policing and the monitoring after the fact, I can't really speak to, but that's probably exactly what you're referring to, sir.
Yeah. So you believe that we probably need to have, laws with some tooth in it in terms of land clearing.
Most definitely.
Because
Most definitely.
Whether or not, because remember now, Cayman Brac, they have their own development board. Whether or not the regulations and everything else are similar to what we have here in Grand Cayman as well. That would be interesting to know.
Yeah, we're losing a lot of valuable habitat, and unfortunately, it's cleared and then asked for forgiveness afterwards, and we do lose a lot of very important species. But again, like you said, the teeth, the enforcement, and the follow-up is the concern of many, probably.
Do you do any workshops, seminars, or anything like that in relation to specifically about orchids? Because they need special care to a certain extent.
Yeah, we hope to have the director of the National Trust, Mr. Frank Rolston, do a presentation on our native species.
Okay.
The time and day, whether the Saturday or Sunday, has yet to be determined, but it'll definitely be a part of the proceedings on that weekend.
Okay. We want
also, I mean, the Orchid Society and the Orchid Club, I know they do have informal educational meetings. You have to join to be a member of those clubs to attend them.
Okay. So let's make sure that we've covered everything, reiterate all of the important points for the 29th and the 30th.
Yes, so on the 29th and the 30th of March, we are having the Orchid Show and Sale. It is happening at the Queen Elizabeth II Botanic Park, and it starts at 9 a.m. and it ends at 4 p.m. It's a family-friendly event. The admission fee is $10 to attend, $5 for children, and then if you have children under the age of 6, then they will attend for free. We will have food, we will have refreshments, bring your cash to purchase. We have tons of fun for everyone, and just come on out, enjoy this event. It's going to be exciting. Go take a walk on the Orchid Boardwalk.
Dress as casual as possible.
Yeah, dress as casual as possible. Bring a hat.
Yes.
That's John's favorite word. Bring a hat. So you want to bring a hat just in case it gets, a little warm. And just come on out and have a good time, and come and join us up there. It's a fun place to be, and we're gonna have the Orchid Show. We're gonna have plants for sale. So it's just an event you don't want to miss. And we also, apart from having tickets for sale on day of the event, if you want to purchase tickets beforehand, you can purchase your tickets on Eventpro.
Okay. Yeah, and we mentioned the raffle as well.
Yeah. So again, with the raffle, bring cash for the raffle. We have tons of amazing prizes that you don't want to miss.
Okay.
Most definitely. And no early birds or pre-sales.
Yes,
please.
that's important. Yes, yes.
And what we have out will be what we have available. We're not hiding anything in the back. It's a great weekend. It's a fun weekend. The orchid sale actually happens in the Rotary Schoolhouse, located in the Children's Garden. Again, a great place for you if you want to come and look at orchids to purchase and have your children enjoy the garden. And then the food will be at the back of the visitor center, along with Dexter Bodden, just strumming and singing away. So a fantastic weekend, always part of our calendar in the Cayman Islands.
Okay, so John, I see my sister's orchids and a few that we have in our greenhouse. flowering now as well, and they're extremely beautiful. This is the time of the year for flowering?
This is the time of the year. Everything is just starting to come alive now in the spring.
Okay.
So that means you're going to be at the Orchid Show.
Yes. I have planned.
And bring your own basket to carry your plants. Bring a little trolley. Enjoy the day.
Yes. So let's hammer home the dates again, just for emphasis.
Okay. The event's happening on March 29th and 30th, 2025.
9 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. $10 adults, $5 for children.
And about 1,000 orchids for sale.
Or more.
Or more, okay? And one will be specially sent in as part of a raffle prize as well?
Yes, we'll have 2 beautiful orchids set in a raffle amongst probably 15 other prizes.
So but you don't know the type yet.
Until I unpack them next week. Yeah,
even to you. Yes. I believe that we have covered... Oh, yes. For those persons who may be visiting the park for the first time, let's give them some directions.
Okay. If you're visiting the park for the first time, whether it's from East End or 7 Mile Beach area, you head up to Frank Sound Road, halfway up Frank Sound Road on the east with our Blue Iguana entrance sign. That will take you right down to the entrance of the Visitor Center Botanic Park.
So coming from east or coming from west, when you get to the Frank Sound Junction, you turn. If you're coming from west, you turn left. Yep. If you're coming from east, you turn right. Yeah.
Correct.
It's about a 40-minute drive from town and about a 20-minute drive from Rum Point or Kaibo.
Right. And it's about a mile and a half from the junction?
Yeah, about a mile from Frank Sound Junction.
Yeah. And then for those who expect to make the turn and see it right away, there's a reasonable drive-in, right?
There's a little drive-in,
yes.
A little drive-in.
And we'll have Cayman traffic control on site and also security to assist people with parking.
Okay, and ample parking? Because we know these days everybody drives.
Yes, definitely.
Got 2 cars.
Yes.
So we look forward to having everyone out next weekend.
Yes, and I'm sure it's going to be fun time as well, because this isn't the first time that you're having it.
No, so well over 25 years.
Yeah, so you have an idea of the type of crowds that you attract as well, and can be prepared for those.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Ms. Burton and Mr. Lawrus, I want to wish you all the best. Hope to see you out there as well. And for all of you orchid lovers out there, don't forget, the 29th and 30th of this month, a Saturday and a Sunday from 9 o'clock until 4 p.m. Lots of activities will be added to the show and the sale at the Queen Elizabeth II Botanic Park as well. Folks, we're going to take a break. When we return, we have other guests in the studio. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Covering Little Cayman, Cayman Bragg. Cover me.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. The Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forums continues tonight. The Boddentown East Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum starts at 7:15 p.m. It will be live streamed on the Chamber's YouTube channel. In regional news, aviation officials in Guyana and Panama met recently to discuss enhancing air travel security between the two nations. The meeting, attended by Copa Airline representatives, focused on implementing a one-stop security program. The initiative would allow passengers and their baggage screened at Guyana's Chedi Janghan International Airport to skip additional checks when transiting through Panama. Panama is considering recognizing Guyana's aviation security measure to support this program. Officials reviewed current protocols and identified opportunities for closer cooperation. Guyana's International Airport Director of Security, Manmohan Balram, noted that the meeting was a major step forward. A security assessment confirmed that Guyana's procedures meet Panama's aviation standard. In other regional news, Dominica's parliament approved an electoral reform legislation on Wednesday amid protests outside the building, where police used tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse opposition supporters. The government pushed forward with 3 bills aimed at modernizing the electoral system, which includes mandatory voter confirmation, advanced voter ID cards, and provisions for the Electoral Commission Fund. Opposition lawmaker Anthony Charles supported the reform, calling it a step forward for democracy, while Attorney General Levy Peter described the bill as an improvement over existing laws. However, United Workers' Party leader Dr. Thompson Fontani criticized the reforms, claiming they weakened democracy and vowed continued resistance. Acting Police Commissioner Davidson Valeri warned that Wednesday's protest was illegal, as no permission had been granted under Dominica's Public Order Act. Despite this, opposition groups promised to persist in demanding further electoral reforms, including campaign finance transparency. That is your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
James William Algernon Ryan, JP, 1913 to 2007. Mr. Algie Ryan served for 17 years as head teacher in Cayman Brac. He also had a night school and taught commercial subjects, including typing and accounting. He later became a realtor, an attorney, and an insurance agent. He is today the longest-serving realtor in the Cayman Islands. He operated a weekly boat service between Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, transporting mail, cargo, and passengers. Later, he was a director of Little Cayman Enterprises, the company that developed the Southern Cross Club, the first guest facility on Little Cayman. In the early 1960s, he leased land and oversaw the construction of the Edward Bodden Airfield in Little Cayman, which is still in use today. He served for a time in the Legislative Assembly as a nominated member.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. In a little while, we're going to have a paid interview with one of the candidates in the upcoming general elections as well. Tell you more about that later. But as you know, there was a tsunami exercise that took place, and we're going to talk about that as well. That conversation is going to take place with Mr. Mark Codling, who is the Acting Deputy Director of Hazard Management Cayman Islands, and the Director of Hazard Management Cayman Islands, Ms. Danielle Coleman. Folks, good afternoon. Welcome, not to For the Record, but to Talk Today.
A very good afternoon to you and all your listeners. Good to be here.
Yes, likewise, good afternoon, listeners, and good afternoon, OC.
Okay, give us the news. Tell us what has transpired, please.
So we've had a very interesting morning, to say the least. So every year we take part in this annual Carib Wave exercise. And each year we try and test something slightly different. And sometimes it's the alert system, sometimes it's schools, sometimes it's both. So one of the and also first responders in the past and so forth. The couple of things we did today, obviously, was working with schools and working on our national alert. Obviously, we saw in February we had a few issues with the app. That's a National Emergency Notification app, and we had some feedback on, sirens not necessarily going off and a couple of other issues. So we've been working to try and rectify those, and so testing that, but also testing phase 1 of the National Emergency app, which is the radio interrupt. So we had some really good positives from today. I mean, for example, we had 11,279 people take part in today's exercise in Cayman. By far the best in the overseas territories. I think that the next one was BVI with 3,000. Right. So it's a really positive that a lot of people are taking this seriously. We've had observers from Hazard Management as well as our community response teams at various different schools. One of the things we saw in 2020 was that a lot of the parents were getting their cars and obviously trying to get their children because they were so worried about the tsunami threat. We've been working with schools ever since to make sure that's, that process doesn't happen, and that children in a second-story building, for example, go upstairs as opposed to naturally go out the building. So we've worked very hard with the Ministry of Education and the schools themselves to ensure that each school has a place tailored towards their own school. So their plan is tailored to their plan because, of course, if you're on the coast, you will have a very different threat than you might on Walker's Road, for example. So that's been really interesting. Yes, so we had 11,279 people involved, which included 28 schools and 13 childcare schools. So that's been a really positive part of today. All the feedback so far, both from the schools and from the observers, have been very positive.
Okay.
We did have a few technical issues. And again, I think at Hazard Management, we're very clear that we don't want to sugarcoat things and pretend everything went well because it didn't go 100% as planned.
Okay.
For one of the issues, and I know Matt will talk more from the technical team because we're trying to do a lot of investigation right now with the technical team as to what actually transpired and why it didn't go according to plan. But just to say, we're very much here. We want your feedback. We are working on those technical issues. We are very much aware of them, and we know that we're obviously striving to constantly make sure that our response is as effective as possible and that our systems do work. And that's why, everything now is focused on how do we rectify what didn't go according to plan today.
Okay, and that is commendable as well, being transparent about the issue because it has to do with people's lives and the safety as well. Yes,
I'm a massive believer. If we were pretending it was all fantastic, brilliant, no, we can't do that. This does depend on life-saving messaging, and if we don't get it right, then we need to own up to it and own it. So I think that's what we're trying to do. We're making sure that we do learn from both February's experience with the earthquake and tsunami, but also, from this example as well, both phase 1 and phase 2, we've had a few technical issues, and we're working now with all the technical teams to ensure that we can test again soon to make sure we've learnt from those and we found what the issues are.
And that's what the testing is all about.
Absolutely.
It's designed to see where the flaws are, and then to improve on those.
Yeah, we'd much rather know now than in a real instant.
Yes, Mr. Codling.
Yeah, and just to add to that, because when we looked at the numbers, we had 9,200 persons right before the tsunami.
For the app, that is.
For the app, that is. And now we are currently at over 10,000, almost 10,200 users. So a significant uptick. What we're trying to do, as Danny mentioned, is just to be transparent, ensuring that with their challenges, we invite persons to email us at nens@gov.ky. We have our support team that can provide the support. As it relates to the radar alert, we're working closely with our radar operators on this case and ensuring that we identify what challenges were and how we can address them going forward. I think that's key. And again, we are here to serve. And that's a key initiative that we're really pushing towards the Cayman Islands.
Would you like to point to any of the perceived or any of the problems that actually were experienced?
Well, we're currently investigating to the radar alert. We know when we triggered from from our main base, where the Cayman had that broadcast break. For the transmission for the other radio operators, we're not seeing that at this moment apparently. So what we're trying to do is identify where the is a software issue or a hardware issue. So we're looking right now with the engineers in that regard, and they will provide that report accordingly.
And this is something that doesn't require manual action. It's supposed to.
Yes, there's a bit of manual action involved,
Okay.
as well as obviously we have the software and hardware component. But again, that's one of the key initiatives on push when we test these systems is to understand under what conditions, what are the challenges that we could encounter. So it's important to have these tests. So again, thanks to the team across government as well for the support, and of course our radio operators. A big thank you.
Okay, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, just so the public knows, so phase 1 of the National Emergency Notification System is the radio interrupt. So we should be able to, from our systems, send an alert out which hits Radio Cayman, then goes out to all the other stations. Obviously, that's one method of getting the communication. The other method right now, of course, is phase 2, which is the app. And again, people need to download that app.
Too, yes.
And we have had some issues. Again, we've seen them in February with certain people getting error messages, for example, or certain people getting the siren but not the text. So we've been working very hard over the last month to ensure that we have those answers and that we have the support at Hazard Management for those technical issues. And again, as Mark says, NENS, so NENS at gov.ky can help you with all those issues. So please email us. We're very, very happy to help fix those today this week, because I think it's really important. But there are the same things showing up. So we're seeing a sort of trend, for example, with the app phone.
Yeah, for example, the registration persons wouldn't necessarily not go to the website, but go directly to the app store. So we encourage you to go to the website first, then you register. Once you register, then you can proceed with downloading the app.
But also the app can go to sleep. So we're doing more testing on our side so that the apps don't go to sleep. So we're constantly looking to better this, but also, I mean, we're working towards phase 3, which, as far as I'm concerned, is definitely the thing that's going to be the best of all. Obviously, phase 1 and phase 2 are helpful, and we need to look at as many contingencies as possible.
Correct.
But phase 3 is just like the cellular broadcast you have in the States, and it's really a very good system. And that's our aim. I know we've mentioned it a few times on the radio. That's really where we're going.
Especially as a cruise destination as well.
Absolutely.
Just coming on board.
Now is that reliant on phase 2 or that's something?
No, it's all independent.
Any idea when that is likely to?
It's a timely process, yes, we know, but we're really pushing ahead and working with the stakeholders on this.
So it's difficult to say because, again, it's reliant on procurement. It's quite a lot of money, obviously, the system itself. So it's not something we can get wrong. But at the same time, we need to make sure that we're being, good with the public purse and spending wisely, but at the same time moving forward in a way that we'll get this as soon as possible in an effective time.
And we can't really put a price on people's safety
Absolutely
as well.
not.
So
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to give you an opportunity again to repeat, in terms of, what occurred today and where you headed now.
Well, again, I think it's really important that the public, everyone who got involved today, that the 11,279 people, massive thank you. Again, it's really important to be testing those. I've seen some of the emails from the schools to parents, and again, a big shout out to one in particular, Sprague School, because they said a really good message about parents, please don't get in your vehicles when there is a real tsunami. Appreciate that's human nature, but we really have to stop that practice, because the more the schools are aware and know how to respond, the better all of the response in the Cayman Islands is, and no one's going to get caught out in the vehicles with a wave coming. So again, another sort of plug to parents to make sure that the schools, that what the school's plan is and that you're comfortable with it. And if you have any questions, again, ask those teachers, ask in a PTA session, whatever that looks like. But again, I think, big shout out to everyone who got involved today. But also, again, happy some of it went really well for Cayman. But again, we hold our hands up and say that not everything did go well, but we're very happy we're learning it now as opposed to in the midst of a real deal. So we are very much working on that, and again, we do appreciate your feedback. We
Very
want
much
that. We're very transparent. We want to make sure that we're doing whatever we can to ensure that the best communications for Cayman Islands are available to everyone.
Okay, and we were certainly happy to accommodate you so that you could publicly explain to everyone, what has taken place as well. And, you guys do excellent work, good work in terms of keeping the people of the Cayman Islands safe. So when it comes to technology and things, no one knows what's
Yeah.
it's going to happen.
We just have to keep testing it until we get it 100% right.
Exercise.
Yeah, constant testing.
Yes.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we'll have another guest in the studio. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Hey man, are you ready for real change? Here's your chance to meet the candidates of the CI National Party. Join us at the party's rally on Saturday, 22nd March from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Compass Green. Live entertainment, great food, kids corner, and so much more. Come, hear the vision for hope, prosperity, and unity. Park and ride services provided from Georgetown, West Bay, and the Eastern Districts. Visit www.nationalparty.ky for event details. See you there. This ad was paid for by the Cayman Islands National Party.
Cayman, could it be you? Tortuga's 10K giveaway is back, and someone's walking away with $10,000 in cash. Every time you spend $25 at Tortuga, in-store or online at tortuga.ky, you get a shot at winning big. As well as $10,000 in cash, we've got thousands in giveaways to hand out every week. Think staycations, the latest iPhones, exclusive experiences, and more. Get in to win. Visit tortuga.ky for the full terms and conditions.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
The following is a paid political broadcast. The views, information, or opinions expressed in this forum are solely those of the participants of this event and do not represent the views of the management and staff of Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. This is a paid segment on Radio Cayman. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, who's a candidate in the upcoming general elections on the 30th of April. He's seeking to represent the constituency of West Bay South in our parliament. Mr. Ebanks, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Well, a pleasant and a blessed good afternoon to you, Mr. O.C., and to all of our listeners, and to Radio Cayman, not only for facilitating us as candidates to canvass, to be able to have a conversation with our voters, but to the entire country. And for me, it is a paid political sort of segment. I'm willing and very happy not just to have the funds, right, but to have the funds and spend with Radio Cayman, because it's as if you share it with your family.
Okay, thanks.
And this is where when we talk about economics and the money multiplier and invest in inward investment, when we spend money with our local businesses in our economy, that money has an opportunity to not just stay in the economy, but to build those businesses and grow the economy. Okay, granted, we have to import stuff. But once imported, we can do our businesses. Now, businesses also have that obligation to provide fair prices, quality service, quality products. I share it to share that as we look at this campaign, Radio Cayman has always been that space where you need to reach an audience immediately. It's trusted, it's reliable. You need to be able to have a sense of continued access and accessibility. Radio Cayman provides that. So sitting here, for all of us, this is the best platform because it's objective and impartial, and I'm honored to be a part of that. Now, if I may at the outset,
thank you.
I want to thank all, and not just the voters in West Bay South, but those in particular who have called, who have invited me into their homes, and that's personal. It's not that it gives them the privacy and the security, but for me, for somebody to invite you into their home, I'm touched by that. I'm really grateful. I want to get to every single person. I can't, as yet, say that I have, but I will. For those who want to reach out, respectfully, can I offer up? The website is just about to be launched, right? It's going to go launch live shortly. My dad and my mom always says what people of their day have said. Do it right and do it right the first time. It's not about being first. It's about being the best at it, but getting it right. So for alerts, people can sign up, sterlingforwestbaysouth.com. You'll get your alerts, sterlingforwestbaysouth.com. The email, info@sterlingforwestbaysouth.com. This isn't one and done. When we win at West Bay South, it isn't, oh, we won. We're ready to start working because we have something in place. It's not one individual. It's a country. We're looking at not change, but transformation. We're seeing a growing divide. If I may, through you, ask, right?
Sure.
All of the country, but with a great respect to others.
Well, you don't even have to do it through me. You can look at that camera over there and speak directly to the people of the Cayman Islands. Look right into that camera and speak to them.
Thank you for the guidance. It is something that I recognize. It's not about a lack of confidence in me. It's about a sincere inculcation of humility, of respect, of accepting the responsibility, of being willing to be accountable. I've always tell my children, right? As a parent, I'm responsible for them as children. They're accountable to me as parent. When I hosted, when I coach, when I do stuff, I want to talk with the child, with the parents' consent, and with the parents' presence, and I speak through the parent to the child. Because I think oftentimes we talk down to children, we dismiss them, sometimes disrespectfully and unknowingly, and inadvertently, but sometimes so directly that we don't appreciate them. One of the potential most egregious things that could have happened right now is had we gone to an early election, all of those people, when my opponent quit and walked away, we would have not just disenfranchised 2,000 plus people, but not just first-time voters, but very young voters. Not only would we have denied them the opportunity to participate in our democracy, not would we have only denied them a chance to have their voice, but we would have shown an open disregard and disrespect for them. It wouldn't have just brought the country to a standstill for that time and caught the opposition and or any other potential candidate off guard. We would have, in that quitting, a friend of mine said, and I want to say this carefully, it isn't that I am a malicious or mean or getting involved in a political fray. This is a recognition that dishonesty and disloyalty has led to a great disappointment amongst the entire country in the seemingly arrogant, right, selfish ambition of one individual to put the country in such a quandary, all because you want to hold the highest elected office in the country. I love people who are ambitious, but not arrogant. I love people who have a drive and a desire and a passion, But not when you're condescending. Not when you can present a facade that, oh, I'm Mr. Nice Guy. When you're not. I'm asking us to consider, as Vito always told us, by their fruits you shall know them. For some who say, why? He is. No. It's a recognition. My mom always tells us, I won't give you right for wrong. But never, and for you, those who don't understand what that means, you do right, she's going to support you. You do wrong, don't expect her to not defend you.
Yeah.
Whatever that wrong is that may result in the police having to intervene because it's an offense, or your employer having to intervene because you run afoul of their policies, whatever that wrong is, and the consequence of that, we understood that at home, that wrong brought shame and discredit and disgrace to the family. And that value was higher. And that's our societal value. We've always had an ethos where your word was your bond. And when you can't be trusted, it leads to a lot of things, right? I know this sounds harsh, but unfortunately, the truth can be cutting. But the truth is the truth. Like it or not, I may be more handsome to my mama than to somebody else, right? But it doesn't mean that if I were to say I'm as good looking as Denzel Washington, as much as I may believe that, it's not true. As bad as an example and analogy that may be, we got to recognize that the truth isn't only cutting, it doesn't only set you free. The truth cannot be compromised, and it should not be. And those who are elected, appointed, must be held to hold the truth in its highest regard. I open it respectfully because of my love and admiration for you, not just as a senior member of our community, to chastise and guide us. Just like we have grown up in a society where that village, where those elders took us astray, took us aside and said, hey, back on the right path. But that can only happen with responsible, respectable, honest people who are trustworthy.
And you feel, for those who are seeking higher office,
yes, sir,
that it is important for people to know the history, to know what may have happened, what may have occurred in the past, because there's a saying, by your actions we shall know you.
Yes.
And you feel that that is extremely important. Why that's, to you, is one of the big elephants in the room that sometimes people are ignoring?
Yes, sir. I weighed heavily in this. I have a very, very good friend. And she said, oh, you're religious. And I said, no, I'm prayerful. And I can understand her perspective because like many of us, we grew up in the church. Doesn't matter whether we're Catholics or Christian, whether we subscribe to some other religion other than the Christian faith. And that religion informs us. On a personal level, it's about relationship. It's about prayer. It's about seeking guidance. But that guidance sometimes through prayer reminds you the importance to seek counsel through those who have been there for you. And if you pray for wisdom and discernment, it gets you to a space. If you listen to that. We talk about that a lot in this society, but we're not willing to subscribe to that. I've always said, I don't want anybody to think that I am saintly because I'm probably the biggest sinner in the room. I joke about that, but it's true. And if you acknowledge your sort of failures and shortcomings, you can try to improve, not to be better than other people, but to be better each day with each step. We are willing to forgive, which is necessary, but are we also so easily to forget? I was reminded, bless you, how I was willing to overlook so much, because in the political landscape, we've come to expect that there's going to be politics in a certain way, and people will pander, placate, and try to pacify. People will position themselves in a place where, it's a game of one-upmanship. Don't subscribe to it. I don't want it to be the norm that it seems has become. But there's a time and place where if we are truly understanding and respectful of the importance of our handshake, our word being our bond, and if the people around us, if I might be allowed, we're all parliamentarians. We've all been elected right? It's a free and fair election. The country can be justifiably proud of the process. We have some wonderful team, not just the volunteers, but the staff. We can go to the polls and it's civil. There's a sense of excitement. There's a great level of participation. This particular election, I'm concerned from the feedback that we've been getting, that many people are considering for their first time in decades for some of them, for the first time since they were eligible to vote decades ago, not going out to the polls. When I ask them why, they've lost faith in the system. They realize that all the politicians are, well, politicians. I've always said I'm not a politician, simply because I can't tell you something knowing that I don't believe it, knowing it's not true, but I can't tell you and then go and tell somebody else the opposite. I just can't. That's a part of my prayerful life. I want to be as honest as I can with you. I may not tell you something because you're not read in. It doesn't concern you. But whenever people who are elected, they do not have a choice but to be honest, open, transparent, and accountable with the public. It is our money, but more importantly, it's our children's money that is being spent. Again, open to critique, constructive otherwise, but I stand by it because it is the truth. As harsh and cutting as it may be, nobody that is presently elected that is seeking re-election can say that were a part of the government, whether you were serving as deputy premier, a cabinet member, a parliamentary secretary, government supporter, they were all part and parcel of what the government did or didn't do. And the funds that were expended or committed to be expended, you were part and parcel. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, and that brings us, we could talk about the whole principle of collective responsibility.
Yes, sir.
Because that is a very important principle and one that is very difficult for you to shy away from.
If I might, I don't want to go back to that economics class where I had the great fortune of saying to my students, it is my favorite subject for many reasons, right? And I said to the parents, if I do the job right, every single one of these students will want to study economics. Doesn't mean that they'll be budding economists. It doesn't mean that they won't go on to study law like you did, the grandfather did, the great-grandfather did. It gives them a basis, right? So I don't want to take on that role of teacher or whatever. So I'm going to say what I think and ask to make sure that I'm not misinforming nor maligning anybody. My understanding of collective responsibility, those in there are all bound by it. They got to discuss and decide, move forward. And that decision is taken. They all agree. They all have to.
Or even if you don't agree, you're still responsible because you're part of it.
You're part of it. Whatever the discussions were in there, confidential. But once that decision is taken, you're all bound by it. Right. Parliamentary code is one thing. The code of conduct for the cabinet will say, as I understand the Westminster model, if you cannot agree with your prime minister, your premier, your cabinet, your government, you have to step aside. And usually, when that happens, the prime minister, let's just use the UK example because we've seen cabinet reshuffles, all sorts of things, and you know that this one is going to step down and then another one would come in. We know that the prime minister in the UK, like the premier in Cayman under our constitution, can sack, can dismiss the fire, if you want to put a sitting cabinet minister, and then another one comes in. It's usually a fairly quick, easy transition. But when, and I'm not belaboring it, but I think in speaking to people, too many of us do not know the process. What we've been told is not entirely accurate, and it could be a little knowledge is a little learning is a little dangerous thing, but it could be deliberately to sort of, make people think one thing when it's really not the case. For those who don't know, you have an illustrious career, not just as the Chief Immigration Officer, but finally as Cabinet Secretary. So maybe the authority that is in you, we would recognize. That's why I invited correction if I'm misguided, because
no, you hit it right on the head.
And as I begin to understand it, when cabinet members, cabinet ministers, and especially in large numbers, decide to leave the cabinet, potentially that can result in an early election on schedule. It's sometimes designed, if you look at the UK example, where the sitting government, being at its most popular, will call an early election once it fits within that prescribed timeline, these 2 years in the UK, to catch the opposition off and then to get another term. Right? All politically expedient, all politically expected. It happens. In the Cayman context, it could lead us to be looking at as a banana republic, as unstable. But it also could cause the country in a time for those payments to government services, whether it's the recipients of certain benefits, NAU or the like, or the providers of services, the vendors, to, for that time, potentially be in abeyance. They don't get paid when they would until the government is back up and functioning. That may be after the election, that may be a delayed period depending on transition. But when you quit, you also give in your remaining colleagues a lot more work, as we've seen. But quitting also does...
Or that work, to a certain extent, becomes suspended simply because your colleague already has their hand full in terms of their responsibilities, not necessarily familiar with the subject that is at hand, but at least basically trying to hold the fort. And as a matter of fact, then possibly putting the minister in a position where he has to be more and more reliant on the civil service.
That one individual has to take on that much more responsibility, and as if they didn't have enough to do as it is. But when you're not at the table, because a fellow said this the other day, you've undraed, you've quit. You've undraed. I mean, now it's become a verb.
That's a new term.
New term. To quit means to undray, right? When you've undraed, you've quit. You've quit. You've quit. We're not quitters, you know. We stay and we fight. But if you're not at the table, especially at cabinet, where you know your voice has equal bearing with the discussions, you're bound by collective responsibility. Yes, there is the code that says you must resign, but there is another choice. You stay. You do not undray. You do not quit. You stay and you advocate for that thing that you believe is important. You stay and you defend against that thing that you do not want to happen, because your voice isn't less than any other cabinet member. That's my understanding. Is that an accurate understanding of how it works in cabinet?
Well, if you look at the initial Trump presidency, the first 4 years,
yes, sir,
we hear stories there that there were people who tried to push back against some of the actions that he wanted to take, and there were some who decided, you know, I'm not going to be a part of this. I'm leaving, and we heard, you know, when on the talk shows, the television talk shows, the pundits, the political scientists, the analysts, saying that those who remained and stood as that guardrail, that bulwark against those actions, that they were to be commended because they possibly saved democracy by doing what they did. So that could possibly be the equivalent of what would be expected here in the Cayman Islands as well.
And again, when I look at it, we're not talking about an imbalance of power where you're the parent and you're the child and there's a conversation, and your space in that sort of hierarchy as a child should not supersede that of a parent. We're not talking about that. There's no imbalance of power. But when you're also the deputy premier, that may in itself convey a higher sort of power position. But in the cabinet, you're all for the one equal. Your voice, you weigh in, you ask a question, and you can say, well, no premier, no deputy premier, no minister, not so sure, or you can advocate. I'm not going to ask about the allegedly trade-offs and backroom deals and all the things that go on. You're just having a discussion around the table amongst equals. your constitutional responsibilities for your portfolio, for your ministry, is no less than your colleague who is responsible for some of the portfolio or ministry. And you can't say that you only had one choice, because all of us, whether we are part of the executive of the PTA, whether we are part of the committee in our sports club or our church council or our service organization, when we are part of that, our voice weighs in. But unlike those things that do not have the element that comes with collective responsibility, right? It's even more important for you to stay and say, no, this is important. I'm going to champion that thing. Or no, we can't do that. I'm going to defend against that thing. Your voice has equal weight. So when you quit, the new word for quit, Andre, right? When you Andre, it makes it, it's disappointing, man. I mean, there's another word I would use, but it's just not all right.
Okay. Are you hearing, what are you hearing in relation to this issue from the people that you have been talking to, the canvassing that you're doing, the doors that you have been knocking on, especially those who understand the whole issue of governance, especially those who understand the importance of stability when you are a country that relies on industries and services that can be extremely fickle when it comes to politics?
That is probably the one reason that when people ask, why West Bay South? I don't think it's any, probably the worst kept secret. I love politics. I love this country. And I had this determined following the last election, right, the ask of me, would I be a candidate in the 2020 election? I said no. I respect, love, and I truly appreciate my siblings. I'm one of 10. So in a sense, I have it kind of easy because we all pitch in to help our parents. And with our parents, you know, dad is almost 92, mom is almost 89. They made almost 75 years, right? And put it this way, they can be very independent, very strong-willed, okay? And my sisters and my brothers do a remarkable job. And despite 10 of us, still a lot of work. I, with their support, still wouldn't have felt comfortable not being able to commit and contribute as much as I can. So being a candidate in the 2021 election would have meant that I could not give either 100% to that endeavor or give the kind of contribution that I want and had been doing in helping my siblings with our parents, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you got other people helping or not. It's just your personal ethos and responsibility. You only get one mama and one daddy, biologically, right? Between 21 and 24, well, that'll be 25 election. The thought was, yes, I'll get involved, but not initial as a candidate. As someone who was willing to contribute to the political campaign, to canvass with anyone that we thought was deserving. We're willing, we believe. But the greatest disappointment, to your question, is to see the dishonesty, to see the untrustworthiness. You can't trust somebody. You can't trust them if you're an elected member. You can't trust them as a voter to keep their word. My opponent has been a stellar person up to that point. If there's only one blemish, and unfortunately, it's the most significant thing that our society believes in, trust. We used to buy things growing up, not on credit, on trust.
Yeah. Trust me this.
Trust me this. For many who are younger than us, may not remember that. Your allotment came, your mama sent you, because your dad was at sea. Your mama sent you down to Mr. Lee Smith or wherever the store was. That's the one I used to like to go to, because I go by Mr. Lee's under the little canopy, and you took your note and you got your stuff and you came back, right? It was bought on trust. That's how important trust is. Trust to me is key, right? You trust that chair you're going to sit in hasn't been tampered with, it's going to hold your weight. You trust. Trust is, what they say in God we trust, all of us make cash. Trust. And the one thing has been the growing disappointment. Those who understand governance see that, wait a minute, that's not really the only option. Those that don't know, is why at the outset I asked for a couple of seconds. They're not sure that it sounds right. It sounds right because somebody said it in that person, but in their mind, they don't see it. The lack of trust, the lack of loyalty, the lack of respect, right? But that trust, the broken trust, is the thing that I don't believe takes a long time to earn, but can be lost. And when it's lost in a way that is so public, I think it's
difficult to retrieve.
Deceiving, it's deceptive, it's duplicitous, but it's also very divisive.
Okay, with that, we're going to take a commercial break, folks. This is a paid segment on Talk Today. The candidate in the studio with me is Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. He's contesting this seat in the constituency of West Bay South in our upcoming general elections. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo Footlong Cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points, or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo Footlong Cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
CUC is committed to empowering our community, from energy-saving initiatives to stories of real impact. The Empowering Cayman is about how together we're shaping a sustainable future. Visit empoweringcayman.com to learn more and get involved.
Hi, this is Donna Bush, your PPM candidate for Savannah.
Hi, this is Alva Suku, your PPM candidate for Newlands.
Come out on Saturday, March 22nd at 7 p.m. to our joint Savannah and Newlands area meeting at the ICCI parking lot.
Come listen to the issues and solutions that matter to you. We are proven stable leadership.
Moving forward with the PPM.
We're moving forward. We're moving forward.
The nation listens. The candidates speak. Subway presents the General Election Debates, live in studio on Radio Cayman 89.9 FM and 93.9 in the Sister Islands. Every Monday and select Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. 2 sessions. One powerful discussion. With Election Day fast approaching, hear what the candidates have to say on the cost of living, housing and development, economic growth, sustainability, education, transport, tourism, immigration, and more. Who has the vision? Who has the plan? Hear it all unfold live, unfiltered, and on the voice of the Cayman Islands. Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM and 93.9. Streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Visit Radio Cayman's social media pages for debate details. Brought to you in part by Cayman Enterprise City.
Also brought to you by Reflections, UCCI, and Yum.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today, paid segment on Talk Today with Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, who is a candidate in the upcoming general elections. He is seeking to represent the constituency of West Bay South in our elections, in our parliament as well. So, Mr. Ebanks, Mr. Sterling, you mentioned earlier in your discussion the fact that there were some of the people that you've spoken to who were long-term registered voters have voiced their opinion that this time around that they are not going to vote, basically because, you know, they have no confidence, no trust. I don't, based on what I know, you know, as far as the electoral process is concerned, I don't believe that that mistrust is with registering to vote, ensuring that you're voting the constituency that you're living in, and nothing to do with the postal ballots and, you know, how they're brought about, nothing to do with the voting day, presiding officers, nothing to do with the end results. We've seen elections where, you know, a margin of between 4 and 6 votes, and the opponent didn't ask for a recount because they were right there during the count, taking their own tally at the same time, so they knew exactly, you know, what went down. It seems as if that mistrust is what happens after the results have been announced.
I fully agree with you, sir. As I said, and thank you, because you've also been an instrumental part in our electoral process in terms of facilitate. The country has absolute trust in the system, in the volunteers, in the staff, the supervisor of elections. We have trust in that. The process is so easily facilitated, or access to it. It's a public holiday. You're able to get your absentee ballots, as we call them before, postal ballots, as we become to increase in the term them. If you are going to be overseas, once you satisfy the criteria, your postal ballot, once applied and accepted, is sent to you by registered courier. You have to mark it, put it in, and send it back. You don't have to pay for anything. Go to the elections office, makes it easier. Whether you're going to be off island, whether you're going to be here and you want it sent here or to the elections office or to some address. So we have trust in the system. We have confidence in the way the system works. The lack of trust is the betrayal of those elected. And I say this understanding that many of us have been around. That's a hard word, right? But it's a truth word. Take my opponent in West Bay South. Publicly, the leader of the PPM sat, if not in this same chair, certainly in this same spot, as I was in where you are, and said after the last election, they had a signed agreement. They funded the Quitters campaign to a great extent. They had a public meeting across from the Foster's Republics where it was a PPM meeting with him. I know that, and I excused. I said, well, that's politics. And they said, stop. You know, you're giving him right for wrong. Joey Hugh, as a PPM, sort of leader de facto, said they can't trust him. They can't trust his word. If your elected parliamentarians don't have trust in you, when you make whatever those deals that you make to trade off A for B, and you go back on it without explanation, without justification, seemingly on a whim, well, your word is not your bond. It's not only did he do that to the sort of political hopefuls, did it to the voters. Oh, I'm with this one, but I'm not. Trust. So the lack of trust, the frustration that voters are having is in the politicians. That's why I say I'm not a politician. Please understand that I don't know everything. I've never said I did. The little I know is only from conscious, deliberate attempt at reading and learning is seeking counsel and guidance and information in a level of understanding, right? When our campaign is formally launched, it's going to be different. It's a transformation. It's not a change. It's not a word that I use lightly. It's about inclusion. West Bay South has been divided along its natural geographical divide, but it's also been allowed to be further divided by its economic. That can't be. You cannot have a divided society. A house divided cannot stand.
Yep. We have a caller on hold and we have a WhatsApp message. What I'm going to do, Paul, is I'm going to read the WhatsApp message first because we're so close to the commercial break. Ask the caller to please hold on, though. This person said, I like that Mr. Dwayne has finally spoken about this openly. A few weeks ago, the Colombian cabinet had a series of ministers resigning as they disagreed with the president's approach with Trump. I immediately thought, what cowards? Why didn't they stay to fight? It then hit me, gosh, that's what my current West Bay South candidate did. They walked out on the people instead of staying to fight. Mr. Dwayne, continue to remind our district you can't walk off their job, then come asking for the job back. I, for one, will not be voting for critters regardless of what degrees and nice talking they do. I have lost trust. Want to respond to that?
Yes, sir. I started hosted this for 17 years, consistently the same person. I love this country. I love everybody here. I joke and say the pastor, I'll say the scripture says, love their neighbor, say nothing but liking them. I love this place. I love that there's so many here who see the value. So it hurts me on a personal level to say these things where people say, but man, you're harsh, man. You're being critical. But I don't trust easily, and I do not want to betray your trust. Those closest to me understand that is something that I hold in very high regard. I give you my trust. I earn your trust. I keep your trust. There are pastors and politicians and many others who do not share nor break confidence. But they come and they ask things because they know they can trust that I keep it in confidence. I will tell them what is truthful. I give a considered opinion. But I would not betray that trust. So that disappointment that we have collectively across this entire country have faced because of that betrayal of trust, what that breaking of trust has caused us potentially to send us in to be perceived internationally as a banana republic, that's not something that we can easily claw back. And that has to stop now by changing the people in the system and reminding all of us of the honor and the privilege of being bestowed with that trust to go into that position to do what is right for this country. And that is why we're seeing more and more say, listen, I've been voting for 40 years, and this is the first time I'm thinking about not going. I'm asking those people to please reconsider.
Yeah, how do you restore that trust? As well. Let's go to our headline news, and then when we come back, we can talk. We'll take the caller, and then you can talk about how you, on your campaign trail, will seek to restore that trust so people can will get out there and exercise their democratic right as well. Folks, and the caller who's on hold, we're going to go to a quick headline news. When we return, we will take your calls. So please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Yesterday. Today.
Always and forever.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
I'm April Cummings.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk
unforeseen
Market.
circumstances tonight.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. The Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forums continues tonight. The Boddentown East Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum starts at 7:15 p.m. It will be live streamed on the Chamber's YouTube channel. In regional news, aviation officials in Guyana and Panama met recently to discuss enhancing air travel security between the two nations. The meeting, attended by Copa airline representatives, focused on implementing a one-stop security program. The initiative would allow passengers and their baggage screened at Guyana's Chedi Janghan International Airport to skip additional checks when transiting through Panama. Panama is considering recognizing Guyana's aviation security measure to support this program. Officials reviewed current protocols and identified opportunities for closer cooperation. Guyana's International Airport Director of Security, Manmohan Balram, noted that the meeting was a major step forward. A security assessment confirmed that Guyana's procedures meet Panama's aviation standard. In other regional news, Dominica's parliament approved an electoral reform legislation on Wednesday amid protests outside the building where police used tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse opposition supporters. The government pushed forward with 3 bills aimed at modernizing the electoral system, which includes mandatory voter confirmation, advanced voter ID cards, and provisions for the Electoral Commission Fund. Opposition lawmaker Anthony Charles supported the reform, calling it a step forward for democracy, while Attorney General Levy Peter described the bill as an improvement over existing laws. However, United Workers' Party leader Dr. Thompson Fontani criticized the reforms, claiming they weakened democracy and vowed continued resistance. Acting Police Commissioner Davidson Valeri warned that Wednesday's protest was illegal, as no permission had been granted under Dominica's Public Order Act. Despite this, opposition groups promised to persist in demanding further electoral reforms, including campaign finance transparency. That is your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
I'm April Cummings with your latest headlines. Due to unforeseen circumstances.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today, paid political segment right here on Talk Today with Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, candidate in the upcoming election seeking to represent the constituency of West Bay South in our parliament. We do have a caller that we've had on hold for quite a while. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Yes, good afternoon, OC.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm fine, man. I'm trying to be fine.
I pray you are, man.
First of all, Mr. Dwayne, thank you very much for having the courage to stand up. So what you see is unjustful and untrustworthy in this small community of these 3 little islands. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, man. Thanks for the prayers.
I always know that you had something better in life than sitting down behind that desk, you understand? So,
yeah, that's an important, once you facilitate it, as Mr. Art, encourages participation. But I appreciate what you shared, and now this is just moving from one platform to another, where you put your money where your mouth is, huh?
Yes. And to me, Mr. Dwayne,
yes, sir.
I believe you have the, the rights or the power. Like, you can go in any district and you can let them know what time it is. You don't even gotta be running it. You already know that you're not only like a Eastern or a Born Downer, you're a Caymanian in all of us. You understand? And most of the time, the rest of them people that run in, they only believe in their area, and then they don't even live in the area. So, big ups for that. But on my main topic, and I'm not frustrated, I'm not cringe-worthy or whatever, but it is that when we know something is going on, they don't trust us, right, to tell the truth, but they trust somebody that would act not on our behalf, to tell us the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you see that we have it now, youngsters drinking alcohol, right? They have them trying to learn about guns and violence and all that.
Mm-hmm.
All kind of different things going on in this system here. And I even going to mention the worst of the worst, right? When you got that going on, and then you go and lock up people, take away people, father, children, mothers, sisters, aunties, uncles, for something that God made and something that you know that is paid and manipulated to be the most evil out of the two, alcohol and tobacco. We know something not right there. We know somebody must be taking something to be saying and proving that this is worse than alcohol and tobacco, when we know the person that owns the most alcohol and tobacco distributors is somebody that has a agenda of one day owning or being the king of this island. Anybody that is afraid to stand up to that, you should courteously bow out from the race, because you don't really mean us no good. And Mr. Dwayne, I hope you catch the code in what I'm saying. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too, sir. You too, sir.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much.
And sir.
Sure, go ahead.
To the caller is something that I don't think many of us appreciate, how we speak in code. It's only when we interact with people who are not necessarily okay with it, right? But code aside, I think this is a time for being direct. You don't have to be disrespectful when you're direct. This is no time for people to be, how should I say, politely, pretending to be one thing and not be held to account for it.
Mm-hmm.
Every election is important. This one, I think, is the most crucial election this country has faced to date. This is probably no different than those early days, decades ago, when we had to make a decision as to what our political direction would look like. Because there's a growing divide socially and economically. There is this constant willingness to discard certain people. When our young people, as they enter in high school or as they're about to graduate, as much as they want to go off to tertiary education, and they're saying they don't see a future in Cayman for them. As a parent, when your child that you encourage and you nurture and you want them to travel, live and work other places to get that experience, you want them to at least have the option to come back home. But when you're sitting across the table from your child, whether there's a little 6-up in a domino game, or whether like someone else and you're baking. I love to bake. That's where the kitchen is where the magic happens. I love to eat. I love to bake. And your child is telling you that when she goes, doesn't think if she's going to come back because there's no future. You can't afford the land. If there's a piece available, right? If it's available. But it's not just when the child is considering leaving the Cayman Islands for additional studies. It's when the child is at UCC or other schools here, law school, and can't see that there's a way forward for their potential chosen careers. Not just in the financial services, not just in accounting and law, even in the trades and the like. Something's fundamentally wrong with how we have been, sort of growing our economy, to put it that way. I would like maybe to not just acknowledge the division that we have politically with understanding. I can campaign nationally. First, to make a meaningful change, to bring about that national vote that I would believe is important, you need to get elected locally. So to the voters in West Bay South, I'm not seeking to be a politician. I'm seeking to represent. I'm approachable, accessible, as I've always been on this show. My opinions are from an informed perspective. They're not dogmatic. I'm not adamant nor indignant. But I don't sway and flow in the breeze like palm fronds. I buck my toes in a mild road here.
Those are people say you don't blow with the wind.
I don't blow with the wind. And I skin my knees in the ponchos, snorkeling out there or on the slippery edges. But I'm grounded and I am proud that when I speak, it is how I speak. It's a respectful. I used to love when Radio Cayman would broadcast their parliaments from across the Caribbean. And without question, you knew as they went from one part of the Caribbean parliament to broadcasting proceedings, you knew which part of the Caribbean. Okay? And if you didn't understand the colloquialisms and the dialect and the diction of those people, that's unfortunate. But it gave you a chance to appreciate the differences and the importance of having that pride in who you are. But I also understood that when I worked in the private sector, there wasn't no emails then. You had a phone. And the phone, when you're talking to your girlfriend, are you trying to court? Are you trying to get instructions to your bank? You got to be clear and concise and comprehensible. So when I spoke to my clients, right, I didn't have to put on an accent. They would call and they say, can we speak to the fellow with the accent? I'm like, I'm in Cayman. They understood. But I'm very conscious when I took this job, despite the challenges that the technology, the microphone and the telephone and all the things may convey, to ensure that I represented the Caymanianness. What was so empowering, what was so encouraging, and so instructive were the friends from everywhere who said, you know, so beautiful language. We celebrate everybody who speaks from wherever they're from in their way, but we castigate the Caymanian. My friends who are lawyers in some of the firms being told by their colleagues and their senior partners, you sound too Caymanian.
Wow.
I'm glad it wasn't told to me because I'm quite sure that I would respond as respectfully as my mom would have has taught. Now, that's different from speaking away. I can talk fast, you know, but why can I not speak that way when my Jamaican friend, my Trinity friend, and I got a buddy from Barbados, and sometimes, you know, you don't need to wind him up, but also my friends from England, Scotland, Ireland. I don't always understand what they say, but through dialogue, we get to respect and appreciate, and we find we're more alike. And that's the unifying voice. I shared with people very consciously that between early September 2019 and June of 2024, I did not leave the geographical sort of area of the Cayman Islands. From 2019 September.
Wow.
If I look at my passport, it might have been the 2nd or the 3rd of September to June, almost the end of June 2024.
Wow.
That was a conscious decision. Glad the family was able to travel, different reasons why it transpired. But I am so grateful to have been able to reconnect at their invitation with friends from every walk of life and almost every part of the world to celebrate with them their particular festivals and national events, to go walking with them and see. And it's not Barkers. I don't know how you want to spell it, but it's Barkas, right? Go up in Bottomandoo, go up in the dikes, go to Colliers, go East End. Any trouble aside for doing so, but I get to see Cayman and you through their lens. I get to see why they love and respect it, and why when they came here 10 years ago or 40 years ago, they don't want to leave. And to see the respect and the pride that they have in Cayman. More of us need to adopt that, celebrate it, champion it, and make sure that it's protected and preserved. And it's not just because of the development or the seemingly disrespect for the environment. We have had a balance in the past. We can have that balance. You can't have one side saying, you know, tear everything down, or one side saying, oh, well, you know, let's keep it. We have to understand that respect begets respect. But whatever it is, we got to make sure that that politician isn't talking out of both sides of his as somebody say, his meal out. You can't do that. But it comes from a place where you have respect, you're respectful, you're respectable, but you also have trust. So to the caller, yes, I can go thankful again because I've tried to demonstrate one thing. There is a consistency, an honesty, an openness, a respect, but a willingness to share my opinion because it's just that. But again, in a respectful way that has become trusted. The most difficult thing, Mr. O.C., for me is to sell myself, to tell people, you know, about this, that, and the next thing, because it's not who I am. It's just not, but that will change.
But there are some times when you have to do that. This is the occasion for that. With that, we'll take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation with Mr. Sterling, Dwayne Ebanks, will continue. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. Oh, don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on a board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Freedom, Cayman Brac. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. For those of you who are just joining us and you don't have a whole lot of time left to listen, we have in the studio with us Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. This is a paid segment on For the Record. He is a candidate in the upcoming general election scheduled for the 30th of April. He's seeking to represent the constituency of West Bay South in our Parliament. Mr. Ebanks, the mic is yours. I believe I did. I'm not sure whether or not I got a response to, how do you intend to restore the trust of those voters who are hesitant or have, bluntly said that they're not going to vote?
It's very disheartening that we have become to a space where I wouldn't want to say yet apathetic, but we're certainly growing increasingly concerned about the lack of trust that we have in those who are seeking to be elected or re-elected. That is an indictment on us who are coming forward. Thank God we have, without question, unwavering trust in the system, in the staff of the elections office, in the volunteers. Trust in the people that when they go to vote, it's a civil way, they go so freely for the most part. Whatever inducements, incentives, or encouragement aside. But those who are offering, we assess them. We know this community. That's one of the beautiful things. And for this time around, we cannot be fooled. We cannot be duped. We cannot allow ourselves to be denied that democratic right to go to the polls. I can speak only for me. I've always endeavored to make my word my bond. Trust is key. It gets me sometimes in the tightest of spaces, a little space with some people where I say, listen, I can't trust you. I can't trust you with this, or this. You earn somebody's trust over time, you lose it overnight. It's not easily restored. I've worked hard to be trustworthy and to be trusted. It is why sometimes when some of my friends, man, go talk to my wife, she trusts you. I'm like, what? When people would give me the honor to have their children in my presence, to stay overnight, don't take that lightly. That's an incredible amount of responsibility. when they trust you to put in a car to coach them. Now, I did the darkness, the light training a long time ago. I did it simply because I thought it would give me a tool to understand.
Explain what the darkness
okay,
light
yes.
is. Briefly.
Yes, sir.
Just,
Thank you. And I would commend that to everybody. I don't care if you are a parent or not, but especially if you are. I don't care whether you work for children or not, whether it's mandatory to your organization. It should be. It gives you an insight. I don't know where it came from. I believe it's probably because of the example. You're an adult, there's a child, make sure there's at least one other person there. Hopefully the child's parent, but that person to advocate for that child. It protects the child, most importantly, but also protects you. But it gives you another voice. When I saw that was one of the principles in the training, I go, okay. But it also makes you conscious of how easy it is for you to put a child in a position. Simple example, and I believe a lot of us parents did it. Go give an auntie a hug. Go ahead and, but why? If the child doesn't want to, the child isn't being rude, you know. The child says, I don't know that person. Maybe the perfume, maybe they stink. I don't know. It's the child. The child is still a person. Don't force the child. As parents and as adults, when that child doesn't do it, we look at the other parent, the other adult in a bad way. But look at the child. It's about the child. It's kind of where we are. Had we, as was advocated for by my opponent, gone to an early election as he was demanding, we would have disenfranchised young voters. Not just voters in particular, but young first-time voters. All because of political expediency and a selfish ambition to be premier. You need to earn that right and responsibility to represent. But when you betray that trust of your fellow parliamentarians, meaning you have betrayed the trust of the voters and not, no matter how you spend that, you have quit, you've undrated, you have broken trust, it's on you to recognize that it's going to take time. But I see a silver lining. I love football. My children will say I give either examples with football or with economics. Got to go hand in hand. A football team that has won season after season goes on the pitch that day, very complacent. Should have won that game with his B team, but gets pummeled because they were complacent. What that loss will do will allow them for the next time to recognize how complacent, how arrogant they've become, and regroup and be reminded of the beautiful sport that it is. And so when they return the next season or the next game, they would be humbled. They would be so respectful that they need to be sort of, given the opportunity to be trusted again. But they cannot do that if they're not sometimes given that lesson in humility, right? We are at a space now where, as I look at the time, I'm asking the voters of West Bay South, and there are two things that I'd like to maybe quickly share. We'll speak more later. We got a call? Yes,
we got a caller as
yes,
well. If you want to take the caller first.
Yeah. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Let's go to the caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Orrett Connor.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Okay, and you, and good afternoon to Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon. Good to hear from you.
Okay. Well, Dwayne, what we need in this country right now, in every district, and especially when it comes to collecting concessions, and it all can't be done at once, but we need to start. We should be making plans to put a trade school in every district, put a hurricane shelter in every district. Also, we should be making plans on putting another drug rehabilitation center in every district. Also, when it comes to concessions, and when it comes to people who are building buildings 10 floors or 7 floors in height or 5 floors, whichever, that they'll do for the concession deals, they will allow the residents of the Cayman Islands, in case we have a tsunami warning or a threat, that these people are able to use these buildings to take refuge when it comes to going to higher ground. these are the things that we need in our country at this time that are very important.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Caller as well. Paul, that was the last call. Okay, we'll close the phone lines off for that. We have about 5 minutes left. So
time goes fast.
yes.
On this side of the table.
yes. I'm gonna. There's a question that came in, and I'm gonna abbreviate it. I'm gonna take out some of it because I don't think whether or not that part is necessary. And I'll just ask this. The person wants to know whether or not you will support LGBTQ agenda or maintain your faith in office if elected.
Yeah, we recognize that some people, politicians included, those that want to be re-elected, those that are aspiring, will pander to a lot of things. And unfortunately, that falseness is evident, especially among young people.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, I don't, wear my faith as it was on the sleeve. It's a personal thing, the personal relationship. I say grace when I eat because I'm thankful for the food I have, but I'm also thankful that I can eat the food I have. If you dine with me, you want to join, great. If not. And I said at the share that we need to show love and respect for all. I'm not going to allow someone to beat me over the head because of their belief, but I'm not going to disrespect whether it's a religious belief or sexual preference. One of the things that I found quite, just encouraging and inspiring is that my friends who are either unsure of their sexuality,
mm-hmm.
who have openly declared that they are bisexual, transsexual, pansexual, we allow labels to be a sign that malign people. We're all people. Let's love one another. No matter your view, if you're so adamant and dogmatic and your selfish ambition, your agenda drives it in such a way that it not only disparages others, it discourages them from coming into the space and feeling safe to share. There are not only young people, and by that I mean those under the age of 18, so they're not legally adults, but there are many in their 40s and 50s who are still quite unsure of where they are in terms of the sexual experimentation or orientation.
Mm-hmm.
But I can chat with them. And earlier when I said that it was surprising initially to have people come and share some of the most intimate personal things about their lives. And I've said to some, I don't have this skill set, I don't have this professional training to advise you. And they said, no, you listen and we trust you to keep it confidential. That is what I think was one of the most seminal moments where I had to realize how important trust is. If someone comes to you, a married individual, and shares with you certain things, knowing that you're not going to look at their partner in a negative way, knowing that it is not going to become the basis of something that hits the mile road, that's a responsibility that you have. That happens so frequently with me that I thought, and as a consequence, I went and I did, just for my own edification, some courses. Apparently they give you a certificate if you pay the right amount of attention and pass the right stuff in mediation and conflict resolution.
Okay.
I didn't do that for career advancement. I did it for me because people are talking and I don't have. I did some further training in, I guess they call it psychology. Not a psychologist. I don't want anybody to believe that. But in order to understand a little better, and why I say it's important, that when you're an active listener, that you listen to understand, not to respond.
Okay, few minutes left. Want you to be able to cover what's next in terms of events, and also give details out in relation to your website and other contact details.
Yes, sir. Thank you again for this. Thanks to Radio Cayman, and it's the same, to everybody. So the fee I pay to get on here is available to those who want to book.
Yep.
We had a meet and greet the other night. Thanks to people who came. It wasn't a campaign.
Mm-hmm.
We ate some food. We laughed. It was a beautiful evening. I know political strategists would probably say money could have been spent better, but to me, to get people to let their hair down, even me, we had a good time. Thanks to these pizza for facilitating. And if you haven't tried it, a wonderful plug to encourage and nurture young entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We've got a couple of things we're going to launch in relation to that. For those who want, there's a website. It's probably going to be launched imminently by tomorrow. All right, we get it right. But if you want to sign up for alerts, sterlingforwestbaysouth.com is the website. Email info@sterlingforwestbaysouth.com. We all know the issues, housing. We all know the issues relative to education.
Cost of living.
It's been repeated. So much so that people don't want to hear it anymore. Some of us may have an idea about solutions. But there is something that has to happen, and it will happen with the right approach, where we're inviting people to understand the importance of being a part of it. West Bay South is the best example to show. It's a bad example, but it's the best one to highlight how divided this country is becoming. I'm not going to say has become. I live in perpetual hope. I'm an eternal optimist. Perhaps the hope is romantic, but we live in hope because our children need that and they're losing it. Looking at West Bay South, if we want to bring this country together, we change the representation. Well, we change the person that's there to a person who's going to represent, not be a politician. Representation you can trust. But we also change it to a space where people, and this is a special appeal to those of you in West Bay South, we're not quitters. So don't quit. A friend of mine said, he's left his job because he just Andre'd. I don't want you to quit. When you stand together, be unified with a collective voice at what is important, and that is working for and with each other, holding others accountable as we accept responsibility. Arrogance, ego, and selfish ambition has no place in national service. Important that we have trust, that trust is preserved and respected and promoted, but trust is embodied in our very actions and what we say and what we do.
Our being, yes. Okay. Mr. Sterling, Dwayne Ebanks, I want to thank you. Thank you very, very much again. Continue to wish you the best, like we wish every other candidate who comes on here as well. Folks, I welcome you to join me tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. on For the Record. Meanwhile, please stay safe out there and enjoy the rest of your day. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
The preceding was a paid political broadcast.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.